Hey guys, and welcome back to yet another Borderlands 3 video. I just wanted to say massive thank you for the support on the latest Borderlands video. As of recording this, it has accumulated over 66,000 views. So make sure if you haven't already to subscribe to the channel for more Borderlands 3 content. I will do my best to try to get you guys early gameplay of the game ahead of release. And with your support, I think we can do this. So if you haven't already, make sure to leave a like and all that good stuff. And hopefully this video is going to pick up some traction so we can get some early access gameplay. But before we begin, massive shout out to my sponsor, Instant Gaming. If you guys are looking for some really cheap games and want to support the channel in the process, then check out the link in the description for more details. Today I wanted to talk about a couple of issues that have plagued Borderlands. In my opinion, it's the biggest issue the game has faced since release. I'm talking about loot sharing issue and playing with friends at different levels. For a co-op-focused looter shooter, it was very strange that they opted for the loot to be shared between all players, meaning whenever someone found a crate with guns in it or a boss was defeated, all the loot could be taken by a single person. This would create a lot of frustration as the first person to the best loot would most likely keep it, even if it wasn't for their character build. Sure, you have weapons that work better with certain classes, but that wasn't enough of a deterrent that would prevent a single player from stealing all the good loot. I've experienced that multiple times when grinding Borderlands 2. This was less of an issue when you played with friends, but if you'd matchmake with randoms, it could ruin the whole game experience for a lot of people. Grinding a hard boss fight just to be rewarded with scraps left over by another player. Luckily, those days are over with confirmation that Borderlands 3 will have separate loot for all players, meaning there's no more fighting for the best loot. With the loot issue being addressed, they also focused on making playing with friends at different levels more meaningful and fun for all. I recently revisited Borderlands 2 on my Twitch channel where I had a level 50 Axton save I used when the game first came out. Obviously, it being a Borderlands game, I didn't want to play solo, as playing with friends is much more fun and rewarding. I invited a friend over to my game, his character was at level 34, and all the enemies were suited to my player level, meaning he couldn't do any damage to them. He was forced to follow me around, relying on me to take care of all the enemies. Sure, his progression was boosted as a result of higher enemy levels giving him more experience, however, he didn't really have an enjoyable gaming experience. He was simply forced to walk through the level trying not to die the entire time. The following day, we had another friend join who was max level. That made things even worse for both of us. Now, both of us were unable to do any meaningful damage. We had to follow the max level player, hoping sooner or later we'll catch up to the point where we could contribute to the fights. After 3 hours of doing that, I can tell you that it wasn't that fun. It definitely spoiled the entire session for me. It basically forced players to have dedicated groups that they would only play together at the same time, and when somebody couldn't make it, that basically meant that player would be left behind and would have to grind out on their own to catch up with everybody else, which wasn't exactly ideal. Luckily for us, Gearbox have heard us and they are addressing the leveling issue too. This is a great change to the game. No longer will the players have an incentive just to run ahead and try to find the best chest ahead of other players in order to snatch better loot than them. No longer will you also be discouraged from playing with friends that are at different levels. As the Gearbox art director stated in a PlayStation blog post, and I quote, "Regardless of your representative levels or mission progress, you and your friends can play together online or on the couch," he explains. And not only will each of you deal a meaningful amount of damage, you'll also receive your own discrete loot system. No more loot ninjas. With the recent backlash of Borderlands 3 being an Epic Store exclusive, we finally have something positive to focus on. Actual meaningful game changes. I am of an opinion that these quality of life improvements will ultimately push Borderlands 3 to be the best Borderlands game we've gotten. Most Borderlands fans love the current formula that made Borderlands what Borderlands is. It'd be a mistake for Gearbox to mess with the original formula that made the game franchise successful in the first place. It's all about the small little changes. You don't really want to change the game too much and alienate a good portion of your player base. You want people to be able to pick up Borderlands 3 and feel right at home. Have them remember the good old Borderlands they played a few years back. Keep it familiar but exciting at the same time. I do also have to mention that the separate loot for all the characters is completely optional, so if you want to play Borderlands 2 style with the loot being shared, you can do just that. Gearbox seems to be going out of their way to please everyone, old fans and newcomers to the series, by having obviously all of these options available to you. I assume it will be an option you can toggle when you start up the game. So yeah, no more loot ninjas, because basically all the loot is going to be individual from now on, which I think is the only logical thing to do for this game, since, you know, having shared loot was kind of a pain in the ass. And obviously the whole playing with friends at different levels, finally that's going to be addressed as well, so we can experience the game with anybody really, and everybody is going to deal a meaningful amount of damage. So I'm actually curious how they're going to address the whole like meaningful damage aspect of the game. I do think they might actually have different stats for different weapons. So for example, you might have co-op stats and you might have single player stats. The single player is obviously going to deal more damage representative to your level, but the co-op stats might be kind of like an average of every player in the lobby, which would be kind of interesting, and it would be kind of cool because then you would have that incentive to play it solo and then play it co-op with your friends. What do you guys think of all of these changes? Hopefully I'm not a minority here being excited for these new changes. Are you going to be playing with loot shared or separated? I'm actually quite curious what you guys have to say. And if you do say in the comments that you're going to be playing with the loot shared, I will judge you personally as a greedy loot goblin. I do apologize if I sound a little bit off in this video. I have some sort of an allergic reaction right now with my nose blocked and a sore throat and everything, which is not the best, and the constant sneezing definitely doesn't help when recording a video. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe if you're new to the channel for plenty more Borderlands 3 content. Like I said, I'll try my best to get you guys early access gameplay, so hopefully that's gonna be on the channel at some point in the future. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you're gonna have a wonderful day, and I shall see you guys next time. Take care, goodbye, bye.